The man who decoded the Indian gene, Dr. Kumarasamy Thangaraj, recipient of the Padma Shri 2026.
It is said that recognition is not the goal of excellence, but its most grateful witness. Dear viewers and listeners, welcome to this podcast. I am Dr. Sneha Verghese. Today we are fortunate to have with us here one of India's most leading and renowned geneticists, Dr. Kumarasamy Thangaraj, who has been conferred the prestigious Padma Shri Award for the year 2026 by the Government of India. Dr. Thangaraj has been working with Centre for Cellular and Molecular Biology as Senior Scientist and CSIR-Bhatnagar Fellow, and he has been working in the field of population genetics and medical genomics for the last 3 decades. In his long-spanning career, Dr. Thangaraj has received several honors, and he is also the Vigyan Shri awardee for the year 2025. We are fortunate to have him here with us in the studio today. Welcome to this podcast, sir. Congratulations, sir, on being conferred the prestigious Padma Shri Award.
Thank you so
and
much.
also on all your achievements in the field of population genetics and medical genomics. So, sir, can you tell us a little bit about your journey from the small town of Cheyur in Tamil Nadu to becoming one of the leading geneticists in this country?
Yeah, as you said, I've been born and brought up in a village called Cheyur, which is located between Chennai and Pondicherry. And all my schooling were there in my village. And after that, I moved to Chennai, earlier called as Madras. All my graduation, post-graduation and PhD were from Madras University. From there, I moved to Hyderabad. I got the job, first job. And since then, I got stuck here and been doing whatever the best I can do, the field of genetics.
So, sir, what inspired you to pursue genetics? Who were your key mentors or influences during your academic journey?
It's very interesting to be in the village setup, right? To know more about nature. And in the village, as we always see, a lot of plants, crop plants, animals, and so on. So always we see that the crop which is giving better yield has been again, and the seeds are collected and has been used for the next cropping seasons, right? So that itself says that there is something which is there in the genes are being transmitted to the next generation. Same way in animals, like what you see on the coats, some kind of patches, it is there in the next generation. So that tells that there are some characters being transmitted. Later, when I went to school, and this is nothing but genetics. So since then, I'm very, very much fascinated in the field of genetics, and that's the first starting point. When we talk about mentors, I think mentors comes right from home, right? I feel my father is my first mentor because he used to teach what was necessary for the life, right? And teaching me to much before going to school, right? So then I moved to college and universities, and my PhD supervisor, Professor Gopinath, is one of the influential person for my career. Then I moved to job, Dr. Lalji Singh, with whom I worked for the very first time, and until he is passing away, I used to be associated with him. So these are 3 mentors I can say who influenced my journey in the field of science. Of course, there are many others, but we don't have time to tell or take the name of each and everyone.
So you said you came all the way from Tamil Nadu to Hyderabad CCMB, and was it a conscious choice to join CCMB, or it just happened as your first job? And you've been there for a very long time, I understand, for almost your entire career, right?
Yes.
So what are some of your memorable experiences there?
So in fact, it's not my selection to come to CCMB. It's my mentor, Professor Gopinath's choice. I, in a sense, while doing PhD, he found there was an advertisement in the employment news, and he showed me and asked me to apply for a job. So that's how I ended up in CCMB, and of course after joining CCMB, and it's for me, I was almost like PhD student because I was doing PhD, immediately joined for my job. So a lot of difference in terms of facility, in terms of his own culture, and so that gave me a lot of opportunity to work hard and set my field, particularly in the field of genetics, and so that's what is my what you can say is the passion which started in CCMB.
I think your professor had really long-standing vision to send you to the right direction to CCMB. So your work on human migration and population genetics and the Andaman tribes especially has gained global recognition. So what drew you to this field of study?
In fact, during my M.Phil, I took population genetics as a special subject. Right? Of course, I used to work on only blood group and the serum protein polymorphism. So that means that I already have some idea about population genetics. So when I joined CCMB, there was an opportunity to look at, because that's the time that field was evolving, and there was an opportunity. Technology Singh has said that okay, let's do something in the field of population genetics. So we started that, and why particularly Andamanis? And before starting Andamanis, we used to work on various population groups. Then we had an opportunity to go and collect the samples with the help of a regional medical research center, which is Fort Blair, one of the ICMR institute. So in collaboration with them, and we used to go to the tribal area, particularly like Duwang Creek, where the Onge inhabited, Great Andamanis, Jarwas, and so on. So it was very fascinating to go and meet them personally, collect sample from them. So that's how we started. Then it's very, very interesting to analyze their genome and find that they are the first modern human who have migrated out of Africa about 65,000 years back. So that's the very first genetic evidence that India has one of the oldest populations after Africa.
Right. So, sir, you said you interacted with so many different communities, these tribes in Andaman. So, as part of your field work, did you experience any significant, interaction which has left a lasting impact on you?
A lot of experience, multiple ways. One is to look at their own territory. When you go from the city, where you have so much of crowd, so much of pollution and so on. So they are in a very isolated place, happy living in natural environment. So that's a good part of it. Other side of it is because some of them are very small community, and they are following very strict endogamy. Therefore, there are certain diseases highly prevalent. Certain population, particularly when we went to Chhattisgarh in a remote place, it's very difficult to see. Some of them were affected with sickle cell and so on. So it was both. One side, we can say that they are happily living in a natural environment. Other side, they are suffering from some of the diseases. So mixed experience.
For our audience, can you explain what population genetics is all about? Because when you say population genetics, it sounds like very high technical scientific jargon. So could you just explain to our audience about this?
So in simple way to audience, so to study the genetic variations existing in the population is a kind of population genetics. Once again, I can say it's a very fascinating subject because most of us, even the non-scientific individual or people, they are interested in understanding about our own origin,
Yes.
right? So unlike many other subjects, so trying to understand our own origin, looking at what kind of genetic difference existing between population groups is again very fascinating story. So we were very happy to analyze large number of Indian populations and some of the other South Asian population also, which gives not only understanding the population history, it also gives us information about how different population groups are genetically connected.
It's all about our ancestry, right?
And our ancestry, and in some sense can say that we're all brothers and sisters, right? We're all connected,
Yes.
genetically very strong, right? So that gives some kind of general perspective that we are not different from
India is all one.
say, yes,
Unity in diversity proved scientifically.
absolutely. We're all from
India is all one.
same, yes.
Unity in diversity proved scientifically.
Absolutely, yes, yes.
So you have published more than 300 research papers. You have built a very strong career spanning over 3 decades. But what are the scientific setbacks you have faced, professional challenges you have overcome? Could you tell us about that?
I don't think that whatever we face is scientific difficulties, but sometimes we may require special help or assistance from scientists from other field, right? Science is all about collaboration, right? If we are not strong in a particular field, we always collaborate with the scientists who are very strong in that particular field. When we generate huge amount of data, but analysis is one major challenge, right? So sometimes we need mathematicians, sometimes we need statisticians, sometimes we need anthropologists, sometimes we need historian, particularly study like population genetics.
Yes.
And with their help, I think we can overcome every other difficulties which we face. I think that's how I could be able to overcome. And you must have noticed that in some of my publication, you must have seen people from different fields. So that gives more stronger evidence for whatever we are putting up in the publication.
Yes. So your work has contributed significantly to understanding of rare genetic disorders. So how do you think genetic research can help in improving diagnosis and healthcare in our country?
Genetics is very important subject because whatever the phenotype which we display, whatever the genetic disease we have, whatever the infectious disease we have, whatever the behavior, everything is linked to the genetics.
Yes.
Okay. So that way, because so far we understood genetics, particularly human, like human genome was sequenced, and we know that there are 3 billion base pairs, and now we try to understand function of every gene and how the change in some of the genes will impact on our health, right? So that is what we are now looking at it. In the process, we also identified that there are certain populations who have been practicing endogamy for a very long time. Endogamy in the sense marrying within the group for the viewers. And that you know that almost every population in India follow very strict endogamy, marrying within the community.
Yes.
So that has, if population practicing endogamy for last thousands of years, would expect that there is a mutation which arose sometime back in the population, particularly if it is a recessive mutation. Recessive in the sense when it exists in a heterozygous condition, it will not cause any disease.
Like when there is a single copy of that.
Correct. We have 46 chromosomes, 23 we inherit from mother, 23 from the father. Right? So become 46 or 23 pairs. If one of the pairs has a mutation, still individual is normal, So that's a recessive.
Yes.
Unless otherwise the mutation exists on both the copy of the chromosome, it will not show any disease, right? So we predicted by our genetic study that at least 1/3 of the Indian populations are expected to have population specific recessive mutation, which might cause population specific recessive disease. Okay, so that the population study helped us in understanding this, and now we are proceeding to some of the population who have higher IBD score. That's one of the method to understand or determine that these are the population have possibility of having rare genetic mutations and rare genetic disease. So we are now addressing that to help the population who are having the rare mutation causing rare genetic diseases.
So you are a key leader of the Genome India project, and what are the objectives of this mission, and how do you see it shaping the future of personalized medicine in our country?
It's a very well asked question. Genome India is one of the flagship program of Department of Biotechnology. So far there are several genetic studies has been done, but we don't have a large scale genomic study in the country. Considering the fact we have 4,635 populations and highly diverse group. So this is one of the program where we sequenced 10,000 individuals from 83 different populations. The main goal is to capture all the genetic variations present in these populations and make use of this information for multiple applications, including identifying markers which are associated with the disease, making the panels which can be used for imputing the missing genetic data, and also to make biobank where all the DNA is stored, and anybody want to make use of that in the future can be used. So these are the some of the main objectives of this program. And this program in fact identified several millions of variations across the populations, and it will obviously help us in identifying the population who are carrying the recessive mutation which might cause the recessive disease, and we can address them separately. We are also looking at some of the markers or genetic variations which are associated with drug metabolism. Okay, certain drugs can be can give therapeutic response when certain mutations are there. And instead of that mutation, there are different mutation. It won't give any therapeutic response. It will be like a neutral. And the outcome of Genome India project also will help us in identifying the marker which can be used for genetic diagnosis. We can also identify the markers which are associated with the drug metabolism. And certain mutation, as I mentioned earlier, can give adverse effect. Okay, so those are the one can be avoided.
Yes.
Right? These are some of the usefulness of the Genome India project. Of course, there are many more which takes more time for elaborate.
So overall, we are making a genetic map of India.
Absolutely, yes.
Yes. So over these decades of research that you have carried out in genetics, I'm sure you've witnessed a huge technological revolution in the techniques used in genetic research.
Right.
So what do you think is the best change that you've come across? What are the major changes that you've come across in genetic research in terms of technology?
Yeah, this is also very interesting. I think we are fortunate to see evolution of genetic research, evolution of sequencing technology. Earlier we used to analyze gene by gene or mutation by mutation, right? So then the sequencing technology came. The manual has been replaced by the automation, and the automation also multiple ways. Earlier one can look at maximum 800 base to 1000 base pairs. Then comes the next generation sequencing, where we can look at sequencing of the entire genome, and the cost also reduced drastically. Earlier, automation required huge amount of time and money. So now the technology where we are at is required only few thousand rupees, right? Maximum 10,000 rupees for sequencing the whole genome, and in a very shorter time. Within the next generation sequencing, there's a short read, now long read associated with methylation, capturing methylation
DNA
changes,
methylation.
and now I think next generation is coming where you can look at not only DNA sequencing, methylation, also transcriptome, proteome, and many more. So it's a series of technological evolution which helped the genomic research, not only genomics, proteomics, many other research in a much better way.
So looking ahead, what do you think will be the next major breakthrough in genetics, and how do you think it will impact our everyday life?
I think now, so far, what we have done is sequenced genome, generated huge amount of data. Now analyzing the data, we need artificial intelligence and machine learning to analyze and bring the precise information which we are looking for. That's one. In terms of human health and in terms of precision medicine, those informations can be utilized for better health in the future. For example, somebody is having the disease due to a specific mutation. The CRISPR-Cas based technology or gene editing technology can help in removing or correcting that mutation, inserting a normal nucleotide or wild type nucleotide. So that can help in treating the patients for that particular disease. So I am sure that now it's already, people are trying with limited number of diseases. So it's going to be very, very useful for treating large number of diseases in the future. So that's one thing. Second, it can be useful for precision medicine. So we can make use of the genetic variations, particularly the variations which are in the drug metabolizing genes, which can alter response to the drug. A certain mutation gives us therapeutic response. Certain mutation will not give any response at all. Certain mutation, rather than treating the patient, it gives adverse effect.
Yes.
Right? So all of this can be looked at by looking at the genome sequence of a particular individual. So it's going to be useful in the future, treating the patient based on his or her genotype. Therefore, we can precisely treat, avoiding the adverse effect. So it's going to be very, very useful in the future.
So we will have everything tailored to the needs of every specific individual.
Absolutely, yes.
So you have led major institutions, major research projects, and you're also leading to major national initiatives on genetic research. So as a scientist and as a scientific leader, what do you think are the qualities required for this kind of scientific leadership?
It requires multiple things, and also there are people at multiple layers. Right? So what is required is the vision for the future, and also how this particular thing which you imagine is going to be transform the health of the people, transform the wealth, right, and multiple ways. So those are some of the things, and how certain things or policy level things are going to be useful for understanding basic science, how it's going to be useful for future generation scientists, how it's going to be useful for creating more job, and many more aspects. So one has to visualize all of those things at that particular level.
So you also become a human resources manager when you become a leader for scientific missions.
Yes.
So seeing your passion for research, one can't help thinking, what about all those students out there who are from poor, marginalized backgrounds, who all want to make a difference in science, in research, who want to pursue a career in research, but they have no clue what to do, what kind of funding they can go for, what fellowships they can apply for. Could you just guide our listeners and viewers? There might be so many students listening to you right now. So please tell us what they can do to achieve their goals as a researcher, to become the scientist they dream of becoming.
So this is very important for the next generation scientific leaders, we can say. Today, the opportunities are very, very high compared to earlier days. And also today, getting information is also quite easy, right? Everything is available in the internet, right? So one has to look for what exactly they are looking for. Right? At the level of institution, there are multiple institutions in the last maybe 2 decades, particularly in the field of biological sciences. So almost every new institutes, including the ICERs, IITs, AIMS, everything is offering some level of basic science degrees, right? And there are fellowships for doing PhDs, right? UGC, CSIR, ICMR, DBT. So they are offering fellowship for doing PhD. I think they should look into the opportunities which are available, write the exams, qualify for the exam, and start their scientific career in any one of the best institutes in India.
And so today you might be saying that our young generation is used to instant success, instant answers for everything. So what kind of advice would you give our young researchers who are planning to build impactful careers in science and research?
I think for science, somebody has to have patience, one, also patience in approaching the problem, because it will not give instant outcome. So one has to spend a lot of time in the lab, generate the data, and then with the data you analyze and go for publications. So everything has different timeline, right? If somebody wanted to pursue science as their career, they have to be very patient, and they also have to spend more time and do hard work. I'm sure that younger generation, at least some of them, have patience in doing science, and they will do much better science than our generation, because they have a lot of facilities.
Technology has advanced.
Technology has advanced. The facilities are now existing in most of the laboratories.
They have better funding.
Yes, better funding, and the overall facilities and opportunities are very, very good now.
Okay. So looking back on your journey, what is your message to young Indians out there who want to contribute to nation building, to science, to innovation?
So younger generation, as I told earlier, have a lot of opportunities, and they have to choose what they wanted to do. And as you said, that some of them maybe want quick career in their life, but for the science they have to spend more time. As I said, a lot of opportunity, and they have to identify a right kind of problem to address, and that not only will help them, and also it will help the society as a whole, and also it will help in developing the nation building process, right? So that is what I think is very important for the younger generation to do.
Yes.
So they have to identify the right kind of problem which are of useful to mankind, and some way, if you do some kind of impactful work for the future, it is always great.
One cannot come this far without express support from their family and close ones. So, sir, please tell me, how did your family support you all through these years? While you were busy in the lab, busy taking samples from various populations, were you hardly even at home? So,
Yes.
tell us about.
So absolutely, without family support, it's very difficult to do this kind of work. Initially, my parents, of course, during my early career, shaping up my life and taking me to this kind of at this level. Presently, my wife, without her support, where she used to take care of my children and all other family activities, right? Leaving me for spending more time in the lab, spending more time in traveling and collecting sample and so on. So without her support, this would not have been possible.
That's wonderful. Ma'am deserves a lot of credit for all your achievements.
Absolutely, yes.
So, how has life changed after becoming a Padma Shri awardee?
There's no difference for me. I'm as usual as I was earlier, so nothing changes.
Are you a celebrity back home in Cheyur?
Of course, yes. People are calling me and wishing and want me to come once, and they are planning for some kind of celebrations there. So whenever I go, I think they all will be happy.
That's lovely. I'm sure all our young Indians out there are listening to you and imbibing the essence of what you said. So it's been wonderful to have you here. So it's been a very humbling experience to know about your journey all throughout these years, and whether it's your academic journey or your research journey. I think you are our pride, our nation's pride. Thank you so much, sir, for sparing time to be with us here today.
Thank you so much, and thanks to the viewers also.